side.
Oh, wow.
I still can't believe it. The boat was going fast. One of us on each side. We were so proud of ourselves, and so were our guys. It was a memorable feat. We called Duffy the Sarge, as she always got everyone's lazy you-know-what's moving when we were on lake trips and wherever else we were together. They're shaking their heads. Yeah, the Sarge. Duffy always teased me about her being Mom Kelly's favorite. She was faithful with letters to Ruth that were filled with daily happenings and humor and love. Ruth treasured those letters from Duffy.
He still has them.
And guess what? It was okay with me that she was the favorite. So Duffy left a legacy of love and caring for all of us. I miss her so much. And our hour-long phone calls. But she will always remain in my heart. So, love you, Duffy. And I miss you. And she was a very special lady.
So something I wanted to do, because it wasn't really possible for me to call everybody and talk to everybody. If you have a special memory that you would like to share of Mom, that would be great. I thought I would tell you one thing that's really quick. When I was a kid, I was a Girl Scout, and Mom was an assistant Girl Scout leader. And as a Girl Scout or a Boy Scout, you know, in Tucson, you have to march in the Veterans Day Parade and the Rodeo Parade, okay? And so it was coming up time to march in the Veterans Day Parade. And being a sergeant, she decided we were going to march. We weren't going to just walk in a big old lazy clump down the road trying to avoid clumps in the road. We were going to march. And I'm not kidding you, that school up there has an oval parking lot, and we marched around and around and around that parking lot. And there are pictures in that red photo album over there and the very first page of her doing that. That's why that photo album's there. And we got out there and we got to the judges' stand, and it was, eyes right. We did an eyes right in front of the judges' stand. We won Best Junior Marching Troupe. So if anybody has a little story like that, or anything you want to share, we'll just let it rest for a minute or two, and if you feel a spirit move you, please do. You don't have to get up, and you can just stand where you are and do it.
Well, I'm just going to get mine done right off the bat, so I don't start bawling and everything. But I always loved my Aunt Patsy, and I always thought she was so cool because she had go-go boots. And she had the prettiest long fingernails, and I always thought, oh, she's so pretty, and her hair was always so long and fixed all the time. But she was strict, and she would scare me sometimes because she was so strict. And I remember that new carpet she was talking about that she got here? Well, we came to visit right after she got that new carpet. And she was being like really, nobody better take any food in there, nobody better spill anything in there, no food allowed, no drink allowed on the carpet. Well, so we're spending the night staying, for the weekend or whatever. Well, we had eaten pizza that evening for dinner. Well, where I come from, we didn't have pizza. So I gorged myself on pizza when I came here. Guess what happened? I had to sleep on the floor that night in this living room, on the floor, and I got sick.
Oh no.
Oh, no.
All over her brand new carpet. I was mortified. Because I was like, she can be really mean. She's gonna kill me. I'm dead. She's gonna kill me. But I was so upset, and she was so sweet and so kind and gentle about it. From what I remember, I don't know if anybody else remembers it any differently, but I remember her being just really sweet about it and not making me feel badly about it at all. And I thought that's probably my most tender memory of my Aunt Patsy. And of course all the other things that everybody else has said. You always leave a bag full of stuff and full belly. And she just was an awesome person.
Well, I was gonna stand up and just say, Duffy, I forgive you for running me over with the boat. But then I thought about it last night, and I thought, how presumptuous. Here she is up there looking down, and she's probably saying, Phil, I forgive you for getting in my way.
That makes me think I'm Jim's sister. And the last time that she came to my sister's home for Thanksgiving had been after she had had several problems with health already. We were playing a new game called Right, Left, and Center. And you have to do whatever the dice tells you to do. So sometimes you're passing cards to the right, and sometimes you're passing them to the left or putting them in the center. Not cards, but
Money.
chips or money. Anyhow, my husband, who had just been, maybe 2 or 3 years after having a brain bleed and had recuperated pretty well, was sitting beside her. But his dice always had him shifting to the left, and she was to the right. And she kept getting after him. You're not helping me at all. And, you know, so next time he'd say, well, I'll try. And sure enough, the dice would switch the money the other way, the chips. So anyhow, we had to stop to make time for getting dinner on. And she told him, she says, this isn't over yet. She says, you and I have a date. And I'll tell you, I think they've had their date up there.
I would like, I spilled some water, sorry. Right. The water. I'd like to say Pat was in our Red Hat group, and we have an art and craft fair every year, and she'd make her peach cakes. Like our baking, yeah. And they were sold before she walked in the hall. You know, peach cake, I'll put one in the fridge for me, put one in the fridge for me. And she was a wonderful, wonderful person. We were proud and happy to have her as Red Hat sister. We all loved her. And we missed her already. She was always there. As sick as she was always there.
Yeah. Thank
We missed you.
And I'd like to add to that too, because when she brought her cakes in, she would say, Kathy, or whoever was there, you better get yours right now and take it into the kitchen and put it there because they were gone. They were the first things to go. She made the most delicious cakes. And I know because she made it for my 70th birthday party and the cake was gone in a real fast hurry, way before the cake that I had bought and paid a lot of money. So we will miss her cakes.
I'm Tony, Jim's daughter-in-law. And I just want to say that my children were so blessed. And I've been able to share time with Duffy. We look forward to our visits here, and she had them planned out the whole time we were here, with the craft here, and a baking here, and a plant here. It was just summer camp when we arrived, and our visits were always short because we lived so far, but we cherish all of those visits.
Last chance?
I'll go.
Okay.
My name's Daniel. I grew up down the street, about 4 houses down. met Gerald when I was about 5 years old. And he's about 4 years older than me. So I met Gerald when I was 5 years old, and his best friend at the time, Ian, who lived next door. I don't know, some of you know who Ian is. They're the same age. Anyways, being 4 years younger, and all of a sudden us clicking very quickly, we had a friendship. It was three of us, best friends the whole entire world, right? But if it wasn't for Pat, there's no way that friendship would have lasted. She was like our King Solomon. She was always giving us wisdom when we'd have our little like quirks and quarrels and fights. I remember specifically one summer we decided to have a big squirt gun fight, and me and Ian decided to use ice cold water with a bunch of ice cubes and squirt them so it'd be really freezing cold. And so he goes to Granny, that's what we call her. She was like our referee. She says, Ian and Danny are cheating. They're using ice cubes and squirt guns, and he was so upset. And he had this big squirt gun that he had. It was a big backpack. You could fill with like 3 gallons of water. And she comes outside. And she tells us to come inside. You always knew when you were about to get a whole lowdown of wisdom. When she said, "Come inside," we all sit down on a table, and she says, "If you boys don't play fairly, then I'm going to take boiling water and pour it into Jerry's squirt gun." And then we play that way. And he throws some water. And we know, okay, we'll play fairly. But that's how it was with her. She always...
I'm pretty sure I did that once or twice.
She was like our referee. She was like she inspired us artistically as well with all her arts and crafts. She was showing us, I know me, Gerald, and Ian, we always were trying to doodle and get into arts and crafts and stuff. We'd always be competing with each other. And she always reminded us that when you have a trio of friends, that there's times where two will gain up on the other. We always change, but that we always have to find a way to make up and keep going. And it's like, 25 years later? And me, Ian, or Gerald, we can see a year could pass, and when we see each other, it's just like a lot of you in this room. It's like no time has passed. We can make each other laugh. We can have conversations. That friendship was always there. And she contributed so much to that. And she showed us so much love. That door was always open. We could have gotten so much trouble in the 90s, drinking from a hose and running around in the desert. That was our playground. But she always knew a way to keep us in line, so that way we could be safe and still have a great childhood. So she contributed so much to that joy I had growing up. So I'm gonna miss her very, very much. And never forget with my kids what she gave to us. That I could try to give back as well. So that's one of my fondest memories from her. So the wisdom and the raising that she gave us.
You say a word? Yeah. I moved here from Chicago like over 40 years ago. And Diane and my oldest daughter were like best friends. It's like if we couldn't find them here, they'd be at my house. And they'd be in the chorus and they would be doing them singing and doing all these things. And she just showed me where everything was. I was like lost, here from a big city, and you had to get all dressed up just to go anywhere, and here everybody's wearing jeans. She's like, "Come on, let's just go. We all go out, me and her and the neighbors, And we just come around, and in fact, just before my daughter just flew into town because her son just got married a couple of days ago, and she had to fly out, so she couldn't make it. But I don't know. I said, these are my two daughters, Karen and Diane, and Rob used to say the same thing because they were just always together. And just before, probably about a month and a half ago, we all got together, her and I and a neighbor, and we were just talking about all the things that happened in all these years, and we didn't realize that she was as sick as she was, And your son, Gerald, was the waiter, waiting on us. And she just bragged and bragged about it. I don't know what I'd do without Gerald. I don't know, just does everything. My daughter, she just loved you guys so much. So it was just such a pleasure to know her. And we knew each other a long time. Thank you.
thought you said you were getting some milk.
I know everybody here has been blessed in some way by past life. I know everybody here has enjoyed her company, enjoyed the service she provides other people, and have been blessed by her life. But I'm sorry none of you are as blessed as I am, because I got to marry her daughter. And if anybody of you know, you all know Diane. And so you know what a good mother she was. I'll just share a few memories. There's a lot of them, but I remember the first time I came over here. It's almost like a movie in my mind. The first time I came to this house, it was to meet her for lunch, and Diane and Jim. And any of you who've come to dinner or to lunch with her know how she sets everything up just for you, and you're the center of attention, and everything has to be perfect for you when you're here. And I'll always remember that. The second memory I'd like to share was for Diane's bridal shower. Pat needed a ride, and her bridal shower was on the other side of town. It was at least 20 minutes away. So I was alone with Diane's mother, Pat, in the car for about 20 minutes. Now, everybody here knows, as a lot of people have mentioned, how she wanted everybody to be comfortable and to be happy. But that's not just something that people say to look for something nice to say for someone who died. Pat really wanted everybody to be happy, almost to a fault. She wanted everyone to be happy. And so on that drive to the bridal shower, I heard in 20 minutes all the different ways how to make, how important it was that I don't tell Diane what to do. Because she knew that Diane would be happy if I did that. And she knew I would be happy. And any of you who know Diane know that she doesn't need to be told what to do. And then finally, in this spot, almost exactly 4 years ago, Diane and I were married here. And we have some idea of the work that went into the preparation for that. And she and Jim worked for weeks in preparing for that, and in making it a perfect event for us and for everybody who attended. And anybody who was there knows that it was a perfect event. And that didn't just happen accidentally. Another thing you need to know, if you don't, is that Diane's mother wrote pages and pages of poems, probably a whole notebook full of poems. And so I think for appropriate remembrance, we need to at least hear some of that she wrote. Now this is written for Mother's Day for Diane. It says, "Now Mother's Day is over and gone, when all the hoopla has been said and done. Why the buying flowers and shedding a tear when my daughter treats me so special through the year. She tells me she loves me each time we talk, and each time she leaves. Each time she leaves the house, even for a walk. She gave me a grandson whom I adore. Could any mother ever ask for more?"
Yeah, that's beautiful.
I was going to read more, but I can't read more. I just hope, I'm just grateful and I'm blessed beyond belief how blessed my life was to know Pat.
That's humor. That's one thing that Duffy had too, was humor. I love that about her.
This song was written about the moment in time when a man is saved by the amazing grace of God. The man was a slave ship captain, and he'd already made a couple of trips across the ocean. And his third trip, halfway over, he was saved and saw the light and became a believer. So he turned that ship around and took the slaves back to freedom. And then he spent the rest of his life trying to stop the slave movement. So that's the story behind this song. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. For grace that taught my heart to fear, and grace my fears relieve. How precious did that grace appear the hour I first believed. Through many dangers, toils, and snares, we have already come. 'Twas grace that brought us safe thus far, and grace will bring us home. The Lord has promised good to me, His word my hope secures. He will my shield and fortune be, as long as life endures. We've all been here 10,000 years, bright shining like the sun. We've no less days to sing God's praise than when we first began. You all know this chorus, so you can sing along if you want. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. Was blind, but now I see.
Our Father in heaven, we are so grateful that we were able to gather here today in honor of Patsy, Aunt Patsy, and our friend, and our mother, and our sister, and our grandmother. We're grateful to have had her in our lives and for the great example that she set for us and the joy that she brought into our lives. We pray that Thou will bless us, that we will always bring the things that she taught us in our lives along with us for us to share with others and to keep it passing down through the generations. We pray Thou will bless and comfort the family, that they will know that she is with Thee and that she is where the flowers never stop blooming, and that we will all be together again someday. Again, we're grateful for this beautiful day and that we were able to all come safely here, and we pray that will help us all to travel home safely to our various places. And we ask these favors in the name of my Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.